Hi everyone, I'm Josh.
And I'm Jim, and this is the Dapper Meeple.
This show is about our love of gaming, the games we play, and the gaming community around this passion.
So grab some snacks, pull up a chair, and join us at the table with your monocle and bowler hat. Hey kids, remember, this is an adult podcast and may contain adult language.
Also, the Dapper Meeple outfit, not required.
Hey guys, sorry for the delay, but we're back and we're as close to 100% as we ever are.
And today we're talking to someone who is an absolute artist in their craft.
The Weather Dragon is a company out of our local area that makes incredible custom game tables.
Their products show off exceptional craftsmanship and a ton of flair.
And speaking of flair, we've also got 3 hot projects in our Crowdfunding Round Up.
And one of them is even all about ice. So sit back and enjoy this episode of the Dapper Meeple.
All right, guys. We told you we'd be back. We didn't lie. We had some technical issues because the whole universe seems to be working against our podcast right now, but we appreciate everybody listening. We told you this time we're coming back with a guest. We're going to talk about what he does, and hopefully you guys go look this up. Mike Jimenez, chief creative mind behind the Weather Dragon. You can find them on Instagram and Facebook at the Weather Dragon. Mike, welcome to the Dapper Meeple.
What's up? It's good to be here.
Thank you. Thanks for coming in. We always appreciate when people show up here and sit and talk with us. The geek sphere is big and nerdy, and there are tons of people out there. So anytime we can get somebody local, especially, to come in and talk about cool things they do, we're all about it.
Heck yeah, I like nerding out. So.
Yeah. Let's go.
Yeah, so like always, we love to start with our guest gamer pedigree. So what got you into the hobby? Where'd you come from? And yeah.
I came from planet Uthar. I'm 48 years old, so I've been playing D&D since, well, there was a huge break in the middle, but when I was about 13 to 18 was my span, my first introduction to D&D, so it was AD&D. So
Yep.
THACO.
That's where I started.
THACO. But once you graduate high school and all your buddies go different ways, I took that 8-year hiatus, it just disappeared. Then I had kids, and my oldest got into Magic the Gathering.
That was my gateway drug.
Tower of Games in Virginia Beach. Took him to play with his cousin. And so while they're playing, I'm walking around. I see the D&D 5e starter set, and it all came flooding back.
Right.
I just looked at that, and I said, ooh. Grabbed it, bought it, and the rest is history. That's how I got back into it.
I feel like a lot of people, especially like in our age group, have that kind of a story. It was like, I got caught up into it.
Yep.
And then everybody I played with left.
And you got to grow up, unfortunately. Not that doesn't mean just because you're still playing that you're not growing up, but yeah. You go different ways, and
life happens.
It does.
I mean, that's the way it breaks
unfortunately.
I started AD&D, and I didn't start AD&D till I was in the Navy, because we grew up like really Baptist.
Really Baptist. I
like,
love how you put
that
it
had to be
way.
tough playing Dungeons and Dragons.
Right? I had to break the indoctrination, man. I was already in the Navy, so enough stuff was already getting changed. And I was in Japan, so it was already some stuff going on. But yeah, a lot of people in our generation, our age group, that's exactly how it goes.
It is very common.
Yeah, and we've got here, and now we got adult money, and I'm gonna spend it on what I want. So yeah,
yes.
Let's talk about the Weather Dragon. So
that's why we're here.
So like I said, if you find him on Facebook or Instagram, it's the Weather Dragon. You can also Google it to see your website.
Yep.
How long have you been doing this?
Well, when I got back into Dungeons and Dragons, my brain is always going.
Mm-hmm.
I'm a go big or go home kind of attitude kind of guy. So once I got back into it, I love ambiance. I love immersion. I love all of it. So once we started playing on our kitchen table, it's that's not good enough. That's not going to work.
Yeah.
So the lantern and the flickering flame lantern and the post, I'm like, I'm gonna build a table around this.
Nice.
And that's what started the whole idea. My wife thought I was out of my mind, but I just kept trucking and kept pushing.
Yeah.
I believe you need a partner like that. Me and my girlfriend, we've been dating for a couple of years, and I'll have these moments where I kind of go off on a tangent about something. Be like, I'm gonna do something crazy, and she's like, hell yeah, and I was like, whoa, stop! You're one of.
What do you mean, hell yeah?
That's a terrible idea.
Like, did you hear what I just said?
You're supposed to ground me, woman.
Exactly. One of us has got to be the anchor here, and it's not going to be me.
That's funny.
I call dibs. I've had meds the longest. You got to straighten it out. So yeah. But it sounds like they're trying.
Real quick about my wife. She doesn't. She gets it. She's not a nerd. She doesn't play. We tried getting her to play D&D once. She fell asleep. Like she just wasn't engaged enough. Whatever. It's just not her thing.
Right.
She laughs at us and just giggles when we're playing. But her ultimate support for me and everything I'm doing is she just lets me go.
Yeah.
She doesn't, when I go away for a week to GaryCon, when I go away for a week at Gen Con, have fun, be safe. I'll see you when you get home.
Right.
And that's all the support I need.
Right.
From her,
Yeah.
And that's huge.
Yeah.
That's huge.
Having that kind of support, anything you're doing. We've talked to a couple other people. We had the Fire and Ash guys on. They do like a lot of rolling towers and stuff like that. And there are a couple that go back and forth and like that kind of support, especially doing something like this, because I feel like as big as this industry is and as much money that is out there and as much as this group loves the fancy stuff, there's possibility out there. Man, going on out on your own is still that's a step into the ether.
It is. But I'm not by myself. I am a one-man show in the shop.
Right.
But I have, if you look on my team section of my website, there's a lot of people that are my backbone.
Nice.
My neighbor, Robert, next door, he loves the shit out of all of this. And he is my con man. He comes to me, everything, and he loves absolutely everything about it. So, and I can't. Cons, holy crap, there are 2, preferably 3 people minimum with all this stuff I got going on.
Oh, I bet.
When it comes to setting up. So.
Yeah, we were looking at the GaryCon, and we'll talk about that here in a minute with your setup in there. And it was, that was impressive. It looked really good for all the pictures that got put in there and stuff.
Yeah. So Robert, Chris, Michael, love you guys.
Nice. Awesome. For the people listening, like the Weather Dragon, like he builds these custom game tables. And you talked about like the flickering light. Can you tell us how you do that?
This portion of the podcast has been edited to protect valuable trade secrets. Instead, let us offer you some fun facts about Jim's least favorite game, Monopoly. Charles Darrow was said to have designed the game in the 1930s, but he actually took the idea from the Landlord game, which was designed and patented by Elizabeth Magie in 1903. Maggie's game offered 2 modes of play: the Monopolist set, in which players were encouraged to create monopolies and crush their opponents, and the anti-monopoly set, where all players were rewarded when wealth was created. Darrow took the Monopolist set as the basis for his game and sold it to Parker Brothers for millions. Maggie, on the other hand, was paid around $500. In World War II, the Germans allowed POWs to play board games that were sent from their home countries. Great Britain, working with Parker Brothers, used this as a way to sneak compasses, metal files, and even maps printed on silk to aid the POWs in escaping. The prize for winning the Monopoly's World Championship is $20,580, which is equal to the face value of all the money that comes with the board game.
The Dungeoneer table, I think, might be my favorite. It's got the 4 posts, and they do come up like above the table. I do like that one because it's got the lanterns over the DM side.
Yes. It like accentuates the DM, gives the DM, make them a little more ominous. So it does.
Yeah, very much. Yeah. And we've talked custom tables before a lot here because if you go to con or if you're just bored, if people that watch Critical Role, you've seen like custom tables are a thing.
You can mention Wormwood. It's okay.
We do. And we looked at Wormwood.
We could talk about that too.
Like, hey, I don't feel like getting a second mortgage on the house right now, so I'm not going to get one of those.
I've taken 4 customers from Wormwood.
I'll believe it.
They've said, Mike, it's either you or Wormwood, and they've come to me.
Awesome. Yeah.
So little old me, threat to I don't know about a threat. Let's not get crazy, but the $10
You're
million
taking market share.
I'm just getting started.
That's hilarious. We built our own table because, just like you, man, sitting and playing at the kitchen table, like that one out there, I've played several games around that table, but man, having a place that's designated for a game.
You need role players need a different table.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You need different things.
It creates such a unique element. We've done a lot of what we call learn to play D&D games, where we'll bring in people who have little to no experience, and we'll take our table with the TV and stuff. We'll throw maps up on there. We got minis. Like I have a 3D printer where we'll make a custom mini for them. All that good stuff. And you can tell, like, when they pick it up for the first time and they're looking at their mini, they're looking at the map, like, they're like, all right, I can buy into this.
Right.
Hell yeah.
So, yeah, that's one thing I definitely love. So you started in 2019. Here we are now, 2024. How many different, like, tables and stuff do you guys have?
Again, 2019. Rough start, man.
Yeah. COVID. Yay. But wait, we got to back up a little bit, though.
Okay.
The Weather Dragon was never meant to be what it is.
Okay.
I made
Okay.
that first table for me, for
Yeah.
my friends, for us, for have something cool to play, and that was it.
Yeah.
It was. I didn't say, well, "Hey, what kind of new business can I start and make a cool ass thing?" And that's not what it was.
Yeah. Yeah.
Once people started seeing it, they're like, "Mike, you really need to start showing this to the world, dude. This is pretty freaking cool."
Yeah.
So, okay. So I started booking cons, and here we are 5 years later from our first initial design, which is the Harbinger, to now there's about 10.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. On the
About
things.
10 different designs.
That's the same way that Fire and Ash started. She started making, it's like our book up there that's got the Dapper Mule. They made that for us.
I scoped that out.
Yeah.
That was pretty cool.
So
I did see that.
that's the kind of stuff they do. And she started making that as like a small time kind of thing. And then next thing you know, people were like, hey, you really need to be showing people this and, like sharing your stuff with the world. And that's how they started as a company.
And in this day and age, it's so easy to share your shit with the world.
Right.
It's so easy. It's so easy. Oh my God, it's a dice tower.
Yeah. It's magnetic and it like the
God.
design on it is just so nice. So
That's
and then she was
smooth.
like, hey, you want a custom one? We're like,
Oh,
shit, yeah,
that's
we do.
slick.
Yeah.
That's slick. Very cool.
Yeah.
Awesome. Well, here, open your present.
Oh, okay.
Since we're on that topic.
While we're here.
So again, those of you listening, I got a wrapped box. We're gonna check this out.
But yeah, good stuff with the Fire and Ash. That's quality stuff.
Oh,
I'm kind of making things too besides tables.
I was gonna say, dude.
gorgeous.
Oh my god,
That is our walnut black dragon hide dice tray.
Oh, we'll definitely get some pictures of this up on on our Instagram and Facebook. Oh, I know the nerds that I talk to that listen to our program. You guys are gonna love seeing this. I love with the logo on the side.
That's fantastic.
Oh,
Yeah, I do like your
man.
guys' logo. I remember the first time I met you at Lowe's, I scoped out your trailer in the parking lot, and I was like, I gotta find this dude. Like,
I'm pulling up to Lowe's because that's a stop for a lot of my table material, and I see Josh, and I see this guy eyeballing my trailer. I'm like, this dude's a nerd. So sure as shit, on my way out, we crossed paths, and here we are. How many? That was like 2 years ago.
yeah,
A while ago.
give or take.
I
Yeah,
was
yeah.
gonna say. Yeah.
I was standing at the pro desk as people would check out. I would hear what name they would use with like their card accounts. And I was like, "That's my guy right there."
Nice. He was
Nice.
stalking me. Cool.
Dude,
Yeah,
thank you
100%.
so much. This
Yeah,
is
yeah,
going to
yeah.
get put to incredible use.
Heck yeah. But wait, it doesn't end there.
Okay.
Put it down.
Uh-huh.
And what good's a dice tray without an official Weather Dragon D20?
Oh my God.
Yeah, that's right. The dragon's on the 20.
Yeah.
That's fantastic.
Oh, we'll definitely put pictures up, guys. This is amazing. Dude, thank you.
yeah. Thank you so much.
This is the reason we have guests on. Is they bring us stuff for free stuff.
Just for any future guests, just so you know, the bar's been set.
And answer me this. At GaryCon, this dude comes up and he's scoping the hell out of my dice trays.
Right.
I had about 20 of them for sale and a couple out on the table he's looking through. And he's rolling and I'm constantly, he's going, and he comes up to me finally. He's like clinking it along. He's like, dude, you got it right here. That sound, that clink. He's like, Wormwood spent buku dollars to get that. Whatever the hell you're doing, don't change it. He's like, that's it right there.
Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah.
And I had no idea. I'm like, what the fuck? Okay.
Yeah, right.
Thanks.
And I'm like, whatever, bro. But yeah, apparently that sound is a thing.
Oh, yeah.
It's the way it hits the sides.
sides. Yeah.
There's something nice about a wooden tray.
Yeah.
Yep. 100%.
So more quality stuff out of the Weather Dragon.
So enjoy it.
Yes.
Those,
Yeah.
I do need to, they're not on the website right now, but they will be listed. I do have a handful that I need to get rid of. So.
Cool.
yeah, fantastic.
They'll contact you on Facebook. We got a couple.
Instagram. We're
we-
more on Instagram.
Instagram got it. We've got a couple of rabid fans. So we got it. So back into 5th edition, was it a big role for you to change?
No, because it's been so long since I played.
You
I
didn't
literally forgot everything from
right. All I can
AD&D.
remember is Thaco sucked,
Yeah.
and then
Yeah. You want me to do what? Yeah.
I do like the 5th edition side. I think it does lend
It's easy.
itself well. Yeah, lend itself well to story. I played 3 and 3.5, skipped 4, and then started playing again in 5, and then Pathfinder's 3.5, bumped, and I'm just like, man, I don't want to do all that math. That's where I was.
Right.
So we got into 5th edition. We have a love-hate relationship with Wizards of the Coast right now. Like,
A lot of people do.
yeah, like Hasbro, I don't know what you're doing, but just stop. I need you to stop.
Yeah, it's not cool.
It's not an episode unless I mention the Pinkertons. So still just so pissed.
Is that
off.
the Magic the Gathering thing?
Yeah.
Yeah, the
the
dude who got the
cards.
cards early and they sent the Pinkertons to his house.
It could have been a phone call. Could have letting it go. But yeah,
The D&D Secret Police show.
right. But in that, again, that thing, just 5th edition rule set has spread out so far where there's so many other people that are doing something that fits into that system, right? And I think, again, Critical Role, pretty people playing D&D on stream blew us up. And now we've got everybody, which I'm good with. Like, I'll bring as many people in.
It's more eyeballs on the hobby. So,
Right.
Hell yeah.
More money in the pot.
Right? Like
Yep.
Kevin Smith says, if you love something, you're gonna have to spend the money. You gotta support it. So yeah, I love that. What's been your experience with it? Because it sounds like you kind of got into the forever DM spot.
Yes and no. When I first started getting back into it, I had to DM because nobody around me knew what the hell it was or play. Once I introduced my kids to it, they were like, "Oh, this is pretty cool."
Yeah.
Once I started getting a group together, my buddy Rick, that's in the same neighborhood that I drove to, that I had no freaking idea. He was one of my original party members. But a lot of them had DM, not Rick, but the other people there had DM experience. So we started just taking turns.
Right.
So, dude, I haven't actually DM'd a game in about 2 years.
Yeah.
I'm
Oh,
itching.
nice.
No, that's not nice. That's terrible. Smack this guy.
As somebody who usually ends up on the DM side, nice.
No, I want to run a game again. But, dude, with everything that I'm doing, I'm a neurotic, methodical DM. My prep, like, I get it that things go off script.
Sure.
Almost instantly, but I need a little bit more backup for myself in order to make a fluid game.
Oh yeah.
So my prep is a little more involved, and unfortunately, just right now, I just don't have the time to prep for games. So I've been a player. At least I'm able to do stuff, but I have been playing.
Yeah. We're playing in a couple right now. We usually have a couple running, but luckily we've kind of, I don't know, everything's kind of been on hiatus for a couple of months. Just again, world got serious and bills had to be paid.
Oh, screw bills.
Right?
Yeah.
Can't I just do this for a living?
Yeah.
We're going to get you over to the Weather Dragon Inn and get you playing some games.
There you go. We'll come run some games. We got no problem at all. So you said there's like 10 different tables in your line right now. Some of them on the website I didn't like. They were like, hey, coming soon, pre-order kind of stuff.
They're not, meaning the design for them is there. We haven't made one yet.
Got it.
So
we
know what they're going to be based off of everything else that's there. So it's just a matter.
I was getting ready to say, and you've done enough of these. We've been like, yeah, this is what it's going to be.
Right.
So talk to us about the Todd Stashwick.
Todd Stashwick, my man. Todd Stashwick is an actor. The dude is just uber nerd.
Yep.
D&D is his life. He's another one who took the hiatus. If it's talking about how you were earlier. Got back into it. I don't know how many years ago. I want to say maybe same thing, 5, 6, 7 years ago for him. Don't quote me on that.
Right.
How I met Todd. Gen Con 2021 was the initial ball set in motion kind of thing to how I met him.
Right.
We'd have to talk about Jameson Stone and Satine Phoenix.
Sure.
On how I met Todd. But Gen Con 2021, I was still coming out of the gate. I was wet behind the ears, still new. The first table I actually sold, I don't want to say I practically gave away, but somebody was interested in what I was doing.
Yeah.
So I just put this price. I mean, still wasn't cheap, but now what I'm charging, I basically gave it away, but I was excited that somebody,
Right.
oh shit, you mean you're going to pay me money for this? Hell yeah, let's go. So I made that one. That was the first one. The second one went to Tower. That's in Tower of Games. Practically gave them that one too because I was looking at it as all right. There's some exposure here, whatever, blah blah. So
which location is that? Because that one's still
Tower
around?
1 in Virginia Beach.
Got it. Okay.
The third one was my Gen Con 2021 table.
Okay.
Jameson Stone and Satine Phoenix were there. Jameson saw the table, loved it, gave me the spiel gently of basically, hey, we're big D&D influencers, but we don't want to pay for shit. That's how I took it.
Yeah.
More or less.
Right. Like, if you help us out, our influence is going to help you out kind of thing.
So, me being brand new, I'm like, I was stoked that this big influencer guy, two of them, the power couple, they were pretty big.
Yeah, they were big
D&D
at the time,
couple
yeah.
In 2021. So I'm like, okay, let's go. They live in Colorado.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I drove that bitch to Colorado.
Like, hauled it in?
I drove it to 4 days of driving. 2 there, 2 back. But that's how hungry I was. And
I get it. Yeah.
It's all paying your dues. You know, when you're, in the beginning. They did this whole Twitch live stream on Satine's channel. I got a crap ton of new followers, blah, blah, blah. So it was this cool event. It was great. Not even months later, they literally get canceled.
Yeah.
Literally.
Yeah.
There was an issue with Chad Rowe with in Jameson and getting tattooed. They started blasting all their emails on for everybody to see. Then this one came out. Oh yeah, they kind of screwed me too. Oh yeah, they didn't pay us for this artwork. Blah, blah, blah. Everybody came out of the woodwork.
Yeah.
And those two got shut down.
Yeah.
So I'm like, oh great, there goes my investment. Because I can't be associated with them. I'm brand new coming out the gate.
Oh yeah.
I can't.
Yeah,
So that was it. That was the end of it. Barely talked to him. And the irony of it all, you know who my neighbor was at GaryCon?
Who's that?
Chad Rowe.
Really?
He was literally on the
sitting next to you?
me, Chad Rowe.
Jeez.
So that, like, of all the effing, like, what?
Yeah, right?
What?
Yeah.
You.
So I got to meet him.
Yeah.
Like, but it wasn't his fault.
No, I get it. Yeah.
He just like, yo, this dude was, it looked like Jameson was trying to just get over on him. I don't know the whole story. That's just how I see it.
Yeah. That's what I saw some of that happen, and I was like, this seems a little shady. And I was like, you know what?
So that's a table lost in another world that I try not to talk about too much.
Right. But it's out there somewhere. There's that table floating around somewhere out there.
What's crazy about that table, they moved out of their house, and he called me up and he's like, Mike, if you want to come get the table, you're more than welcome to, because they had to move to a smaller, they were downsizing.
Yeah.
So they were either it's either me come and get it, or they were going to put it in storage. I was like, Jameson, I appreciate it, brother, but I can't. There's no way.
Yeah.
I already lost enough money on the table. There's no way in hell I can lose 4 to 5 days of shop time and then $1,000 in fuel driving out there. I'm like, yeah. And the bad thing about that table is that was the last one where the top was solid. The top was one giant piece. Thing weighed 175 pounds probably.
Good.
Wow.
Yeah. After that, Gen Con 2021, I redesigned it to make it more modular. It totally comes apart now.
Okay.
So it's manageable. You can put my tables in a basement, an attic, any upstairs, down wherever. Though
you don't got to worry about it falling.
Yeah. So that was another thing. I'm like, I don't want that table, dude. Just put it away, sell it, burn it. I don't care. It's just whatever.
Go donate it to a charity in Colorado. They'll use it in the library or something.
So yeah.
Oh,
that was the premise to Todd Stashwick. They were friends with Todd Stashwick.
Right.
So while everything was still good, they said, hey, our friend Todd Stashwick's really interested in a table. Why don't you talk to him? So they hooked us up. We started chatting, and at first, all I had was the Harbinger, which is my bar stool height with the taller post.
Right.
And Todd's like, this is freaking amazing, but Todd's Nerd Lair, it is a nerd museum. It is, holy crap, the shit that's in there is beyond epic.
Yeah.
He was afraid the table would have competed with the room.
Yeah.
He didn't want the table to be the center of attention.
Sure, like overpower.
He wanted it to be a part of it, like kind of just blend in. So it almost ended our relationship right there. I called him back like 3 days later. I'm like, what does Todd Stashwick need for a table? What do you want?
Yeah.
He's like, well, standard height for starters. So I'm like, okay. So I didn't have any standard height tables at that point. So standard height tables with the taller posts at the time, I'm like, to me, that would have looked weird.
Right.
So what if we chop them off? And this was Todd's idea, those braziers, those little fire pits, that was his idea.
I
sketched
those.
something up. I sent it to him. He's like, that looks cool. Sent it to a 3D modeler. We had a STL done for it. Now we print them up every time we do a table. So,
nice.
So
nice.
to keep that Weather Dragon feel and ambiance, now we have the braziers for the lower standard table.
Right.
Yeah.
Now I like those a lot. We were looking through. I think that's why I like the Dungeoneer, because it does have those on the other posts.
It gives you both best of both worlds.
Yeah. So I'm all about the hybrid, man. Those look really good. So that makes sense. Yeah. So how much more influence did he have in the design, or was that kind of like, hey, I needed to fit my room? And
he gave me, he started the line of all our, I guess, standard table height models.
Yeah.
Because I didn't, at the time I didn't have any. People had asked me at Gen Con 21, because I didn't even finish his table by 22. I think it was after Gen Con 22 before I finished his.
right.
People had asked, hey, can you lower this to standard height? At the time, I didn't want to entertain it, because we were still trying to fine tune that one.
Oh, yeah.
It was
yeah.
good, but
Yeah.
it still needed some tweaking, bugs, whatever. Just it's the I don't want to say prototype, but the first couple versions are never where you want them to be.
That's where you're nailing down your formula. Yeah.
Right. So I didn't want to entertain new models, new designs, but then Todd came along. All right, now Dum Dum, you need to maybe entertain this guy. He's got some influence, and I took the leap, and it was well worth it. Todd is a solid dude. I can text him, and I'll get a response in a few hours. If I need a call, I'll never call him, but hey, give me a shout. I need to chat about it. He'll call me back like within an hour.
Right.
He's just super down to earth. He's just not one of these flashy, I'm too good for you, celebrities. He's just cool.
Yeah,
as shit.
yeah. Like I was
Super
familiar with
cool
him.
dude.
Yeah, because we do our pre-interview stuff, and you sent that name over, and I was like, man, I know that sounds familiar, and looked him up, and I was like, yeah, he's one of those characters, I think, or one of those actors that by face. Like everybody that sees him is gonna be like, oh yeah, I know that guy. And you're like, yeah, what's his name? And they're like, something. Like, cool, yeah, right. Like
something.
But every time he steps on screen, you go, that dude was in this, or that dude, yeah.
He's done a lot of stuff, man.
Oh yeah. Like look at his IMDb, man. It's crazy, and it's a lot of stuff that like I watched Supernatural. I made it all the way to the end, even those rough last seasons. But he popped in there, I know, a couple times. He did Justified. And then, like I said, season 3 of Picard.
He was the evil villain in Kim Possible live action.
Yeah. Wasn't he 12 Monkeys?
12 Monkeys.
Yeah, he did the series.
Deacon and 12 Monkeys.
Yeah. Yeah. So I mean, like the dude got street cred. Like he's been doing it for a while, and I love that there's this like secret cabal in Hollywood and entertainment of like geeks and D&D that like happens behind the scenes, like on the sets and stuff. Like. One of my like bucket items. It's probably not going to happen after Gen Con, but is to play with Deborah Ann Wall.
Oh my God, she's on my list too. Yes.
Yeah, all right,
dude. Relics and Rarities.
Yes,
how effing cool was
that? Was such a good concept.
I had tears in my eyes when I forgot the characters' names, but the one blonde girl, when her character almost bit the bullet.
Yeah.
I was literally getting teared. I was like, no.
I don't know if you heard our Gen Con wrap-up episode.
Yeah,
have you heard about the incident?
I can't say. Oh,
nope. All right. So here we are at Gen Con last year. Our first Gen Con. Right. First day, too. We didn't know where the hell we were going. Like, we were just wandering around. Yeah.
I know your pain.
There are like thousands of people surrounding us. We're making our way through. We're coming across this like food court on the way over to get some tickets or something like that, and like tons of people around, and all of a sudden like Deborah Ann Wall comes walking from like the food court, like sneaking around the corner trying to like avoid people and stuff, and one of us, wasn't me, goes that's Deborah Ann Wall, like that. And you could see like in the moment that it happened, like I felt like people just went and turned and looked, and she like makes eye contact and then like ducks and like keeps going as fast as
That's funny.
I didn't think it was that loud. Apparently, again, some
Your brain farted.
Right, the ADHD kicks in. You're not paying
Just
attention. I got a lot of stuff going on, man.
That's funny.
Yeah. I did tweet later, and I was like, man, I'm real sorry about that. We didn't get a response back. But if I ever do get,
she's like these mother.
Right?
God damn it,
this asshole. If we ever do get a chance to like do like a signing or thing, she's got a booth. I definitely have to be like, hey, I don't know if you remember, I yelled at you at the beginning of like 2023 Gen Con. That's my bad. That's
Yeah,
my bad.
We'll give you a really nice pin.
I approached Ginny D at Gen Con 2022.
Oh, yeah? Oh.
Shit, I got pictures of her at the table.
That'd be.
I was sitting down at the food court. You got to get away every now and then. I
Yep.
had two guys at the booth, Robert and my son Michael. I'm like, dude, I got to get something. I got to go sit down. I'm sitting down, and who comes walking past me? Ginny D. So I get up. I'm like, Ginny D, huge fan. That's my booth right there. We're vendors here. I was like, if you have a minute, please just come check us out. I'd love for you to just hang out for a second, sign the table, blah, 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 blah. And she did.
That's
So it
awesome.
was
Yeah,
cool.
yeah.
She came to see us. So.
I do like the table signing.
Yeah, I saw on your Instagram that.
I got a shit ton of signatures on that bitch now.
Do you have like one table that you
I
is like
have-
your
it's
demo
one
table?
It's my home table. It's my
Yeah.
con table.
That's fantastic.
That hopefully will change soon. I do need to retire that table, just because people want to see new things, fresh shit. And not that same people come see me everywhere I go, but,
Right.
I need to mix it up. So
Well, especially, I mean, you got to be innovating all the time. You got to be doing stuff. Tom Vassell, we met him at.
is that Dice Tower?
Yeah,
Tom
I
Vassell?
was gonna say, yeah. Big tall guy, like some
Yeah,
weird
yeah.
hats,
No, I know.
suspenders.
I know
Yeah.
who he is.
We were like, dude, I was like, we're gonna go talk to Tom Vassell. He's just walking around. So
Dude, I don't. Every opportunity I get, if I see somebody famous, I'm beelining and going right to him. I don't give a shit. Tell me to go f off, whatever. And if you
I took my
don't,
shot.
we're gonna talk.
I took my shot. Yeah. And we gave him some pins and stuff, and we're like, hey man, we go to the Dice Tower for a lot of our information, stuff like that. It's like, hey man, it's just cool to be able to shake your hand. Like I get to see you in person and stuff. So he was like, hey man, why aren't you guys dressed up? We're like, what do you mean? He's like, you got a great logo and stuff.
Where's your bowler hat and monocle, dude?
Yeah, right. Exactly.
Yeah,
exactly. He's like, hey man, always be branding. So that's what we learned from Tom Vassell. We're picking up a little bit of information as we're doing this.
Hell
yeah.
But yeah. That was and we've met a couple of people that were was like, wow, I never thought I would get to be here. But
What you just said, the phone numbers I have in my phone. If you would have told me 5 years ago I'd have these numbers in my phone, I'd tell you I would have laughed and said you're out of your effing mind.
right, yeah.
And they're
And I think there's something too about this community when you get into it, and you get into it for like you said, you didn't plan this to be.
it was never meant to be a thing.
but you're here now, and you got into it for love of the game, man. You know, you enjoy the thing, you enjoy what you're doing. Like Fire and Ash people, when they talked, they said, the one thing that we can say is, if you have a thing you're doing, put the thing out in the world, make the thing, because people will flock to it, and especially in this community. They love to see it. But it's people that come in as like, I never intended it to be this way. Like, I mean, Critical Role, they never intended that explosion to happen.
Right.
But you come into it and you've got your heart in it, and people can. I think people definitely pick up on that. You know what I'm saying? And I love it. Like, and I can only imagine. Like, again, we watched Gary Con. We were watching the pictures and stuff come in, and some of the people that came over and signed it. I mean, man, we're talking role playing royalty.
Anjali Bhamani.
Oh,
Yeah.
I saw that one. I told him, I was like, man, I'm jealous.
Yeah, dude, that was mind boggling, because she is a powerhouse in the industry, and you saw the videos. She's an actress, so maybe she was acting, I don't know, but she absolutely loves the table, loves what we're doing. So I'm hoping, Anjali, we can get you a table one day.
Right? What do you want for a table?
Well, that's what she said. She goes, well, Stashwick got a table. I want one too.
Keep spreading it around, buddy.
Let's talk.
What do you sell more of? Like the original kind of bar stool, or do you sell more of the...
It's a healthy mix.
Okay.
It really is. I would have to... Honestly, I think the Harbinger, which is our flagship model, the bar stool height with the taller post.
Yeah.
I think those have sold the most. The next one I'm working on is a Harbinger.
Yeah.
And the next two after that are the Dungeoneers.
Yeah.
So 2 Dungeoneers going out the door after that. But I'm going to have to say the Harbinger right now, and the Stashwick is probably definitely a close second.
I can believe that.
Sure.
I can believe that. Those are just two good-looking tables.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, ideas for 2.0, I'm just saying. We saw Gary Con, which Gary Con is on my bucket list. Like, it's a smaller con. We've talked about it several times.
It is,
but I mean,
yeah, it was wild.
did you get to meet Luke? Yeah.
He's one of my phone numbers.
God. We need to quit being lazy. This
Wait.
podcast could be bigger.
Wait. I met Luke Gen Con 2022. Showed him the table. Gave Miriam, one of his daughters, a tour of the table too. We take a selfie at Gen Con, and he says, "Hey, can you text that to me?" And gave me his phone number.
Nice.
He didn't don't airdrop. He gave me his phone number.
Right. Yeah.
So okay.
See, Luke strikes me as that guy.
Yeah. He was just cool as shit, no care in the world. And now, like, again, I don't call Luke, say, "Hey, what's up, man? How you doing?" No, that's not what happens. I have texted him for things, here and there.
Yeah.
And again, he does respond. So, cool as crap too. RavenCon, March last year.
That's in
Richmond.
I
get Stash Week to do a FaceTime with me. RavenCon is a sci-fi and fantasy convention.
Yep.
Okay. So since he did Picard, I'm like, oh, let's do a FaceTime. I tried to promote it a little bit and let people or anybody who's around that knew Picard, talk. Here you go, talk to Todd for a little bit. So we did that for a few. While we were hanging up, I said, "Todd, I got GaryCon on my sights for next year." He's like, "Oh," let me, because him and Luke are buddies.
I was gonna say,
they're friends. They've known each other for a very long time. So he's like, he goes, I'm gonna text Luke. I'll call you back. Not even 5 minutes later, he texts me back, "You're in."
Nice.
I was like, yes.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Now I still have to go through all the formalities next year.
Yeah.
I apply once the vendor's registration opened up. I apply.
Yep.
I get the email back while I was in Boca Raton, Florida last September for Tower of War,
outfitting
saying, "Sorry, we're filled up. We don't have room." It was my rejection email.
Right.
I was devastated.
Oh, dude, I bet.
Yeah,
I was devastated. 50th anniversary in Lake Geneva, where it was created. I was devastated. I wanted to just crawl. I was in the shower crying in a fetal position. Oh my God, it was terrible. So after talking to people, they're like, "Mike, don't let this go. Something went south somewhere. Tell Todd that you got rejected." And I'm like, I don't want to beat a bitch. And
right? I don't. Yeah.
I didn't want to do that. So there was an email exchange between us, and I said, "Hey," well, I responded to his email. I said, "Hey, by the way, no go for GaryCon this year. I don't know what happened, but I didn't get in." And he's like, "Really?" So he's like, "That's all I got was like, really?" Question mark. I was driving around today picking up material for the next table.
Sure.
My phone rings, and it's Luke Gygax.
Yeah.
He's calling me, telling me, he's like, "Mike, your shit just got lost in translation." He goes, You're in.
Yeah,
Don't
you're
worry
good. You're
about
good.
it." I got a call from Luke Gygax telling me I was in GaryCon.
Hey, it's my con.
What?
I said you're in. You're good.
Because what he said, he's like, "Mike, we save booths for, last minute things.
Right.
Whatever shit that goes south." And holy crap. Yeah.
That's awesome. That dude, I can.
I was checking out at Joanne's Fabrics, picking up felt for the next table, and my phone rings, and I see Luke Gygax. I'm like, I gotta take this. I ran out of line. He was ringing me up. I ran out the door. Yep. Not letting that go to voicemail.
Right. Yeah, we've been following him for a while. Just it seems like such a good down to earth dude. Like it's one of the guys that you meet in this industry, and you're like, man, people like you are what make the clock tick. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Now I'm not gonna lie. In full disclosure, I was a little disappointed at GaryCon. I didn't get to say 2 words to him the entire time.
Yeah.
We crossed paths like a few times. He was at Chad Rowe's booth behind me.
Yeah.
He was across the way because we had the artist alley
right
in front of us, and he didn't turn around once to say hi to us.
No.
I'm like, so that was kind of deflating too, but it's all good.
It's fine. It
is
next year. We're going back next year.
I got a phone call from him telling me I'm in, so it's all good.
I like that. Before we got started, we sat down a little bit, and you were talking. PAX U is definitely one that's on your radar for getting to.
I'm hoping.
Yeah. I mean, I'm assuming as a vendor.
Yes.
Right.
Oh yeah. Because Philly, man, that's cakewalk. 6 hours. I'm used to driving 20.
Yeah, I was gonna say. Yeah,
Yeah.
this is easy for you. Yeah. We've I don't know, man. It's a different feel than Gen Con.
It is.
I think it's because it's a smaller con.
Gen Con is just a behemoth.
Gen Con ridiculous. Like
It's
we went.
sensory overload. It's holy crap.
I love food trucks,
Food trucks.
and so as soon as Gen Con was like, "Oh yeah, we got like 20 food trucks."
And those crazy ass pizzas they do.
Oh, out in the thing, yeah. That and the what was it? The noodles.
Yeah.
Yes, the noodles. Are good, too.
Everybody knows. Yeah.
I've had the noodles. You can't go to Gen Con and not get the noodles.
Oh, they were so good. Like I said, we went. This was our first time, and the guys from BA Games was like, "Hey, man, come work our booth." And we're like, "We've never worked a booth before." I was like, "But we're relatively intelligent people, and 2,
We'll figure it the hell out.
I'm charming. Damn it! Like I got this."
I sell paint for a living. I got what's a board game? Like
We're nerds.
Right?
We got this shit.
that was our Gen Con experience. Like we had like the first half of the day, we'd be wandering around. We hit the panels that we wanted to see, all that stuff, and then we'd go put 4 hours either working the booth or taking people like, hey, we're going to take you over to the gaming area, which was in Colt Stadium, and teach you all how to play their game. Was a blast, absolute blast. The best time we had was working a booth. Like,
cool.
Because everybody comes to see you, or at least most of them. And it was cool because their game is Cult of the Deep. So, like the sales pitch when people are walking by, they're
Is
doing
that a Cthulhu mythos thing?
Kinda, yeah. It's kind of the way. Yeah. They're walking by and they're like looking and be like, "Hey, you want?
I see you looking, bitch.
Right?
Come on
Yeah.
here.
You want to join a cult?"
Yeah.
So, that was our go-to. It was a great time. But, so what other cons you got out? Like, there's a lot of local cons.
There is. I
especially
did Tidewater
East Coast.
Comic-Con last year. We had a good response from Tidewater Comic-Con last year. That was cool. What's great about that is it's local.
Mhm.
So
Yeah.
the costs are way down. I don't have to pay $1,000 for hotels for 4 or 5 nights.
Right.
Mhm.
I get to go home at the end of the day. But I couldn't do it this year because GaryCon, I just got home friggin' the end of March, and then in 2 months, then it's too much.
Yeah.
Financially and just mentally, it's exhausting.
Dude,
it's
even
a lot of work.
Even people that go to cons as like attendees, by no means is this not a like luxury hobby. I mean, a lot of us, again, like I said, especially our generation, that's older people,
That's old folk.
right? We got adult money now, and I'm gonna spend it on what I want to spend it on.
right.
And I think that's a huge reason for the explosion and the renaissance in role playing and board games and people like, oh yeah, I need a table for my game room because we got money now,
Right.
and mom and dad can't tell me no.
Right.
But even just going as an attendee, like you said, man, you got to plan. You got to plan hotel rooms. You got to plan where you're going
It
to
ain't
eat.
cheap, man.
Yeah,
It
you
ain't cheap.
got to buy the badges. Most of them aren't too bad. Like Gen Con's what, like $250 for like the full 4 days or
I don't
something.
even think it's that much, but yeah.
Yeah, and PAX U is even less than that. So for attendees, but I mean, I can only imagine going as a vendor because we saw again, we got kind of we got to pull the curtain back a little bit.
Yeah, we're not going to talk about Gen Con costs for the booth.
Yeah.
Shitballs.
We've heard rumors and we're like, yeah, man, I'm glad we can be here to help. That's where we are.
Yeah.
Tidewater, for people that don't know, and it's the 18th and 19th this year.
Oh, that's coming up. Shit,
yeah,
that's
like
right
it's
around
like
the corner.
I want to say
Holy
it's like
crap.
next weekend. Is that Mother's Day weekend?
No, it's the weekend after.
No, the 12th is Mother's Day.
Okay, yeah, okay. My plan.
I'm not going to be here. You know where I'm going to be? I'm going to be in Knoxville, Tennessee at the Green Dragon Fest at Ancient Lore Village.
Ooh.
And you know who they're bringing in for that? This event is crazy. It's a private event. It's not a con.
Yeah.
It's ancient. Do you know what Ancient Lore Village is?
No, that's what I was going to ask because I
It's-
know the one further out in Utah. Is it kind of the same thing?
Evermore.
Yeah.
Way.
Right.
Yeah.
That's more of like a theme park kind of thing. Ancient Lore Village is basically a hotel setup,
right.
but it's fantasy themed. Dude, there's like Hobbit, Lord of the Rings, the rooms and shit.
Yeah.
It's so fantasy D&D perfect. It's not
Right.
even funny. Baron Derop, Dungeon Masterpiece. Have you heard of him? He's got a YouTube channel.
I don't think so.
He's running this event called the Green Dragon Fest.
Okay.
They're bringing in pro DMs, Kelsey Dion, Ted from Nerd Immersion,
Yeah.
House DM, the Alexandrian. There's like 9 or 10 of them total. People are just paying to play D&D for 3 days, and that's it. It's not a con. I reached out to Baron. I said, hey, I got this really cool table that could really enhance your event.
Right,
I just
right.
want to come and drop it off.
Yeah,
Let
yeah,
everybody-
yeah.
Because, oh my God, it's so expensive. It's $2,000 a ticket to play. So everybody who's going there is a potential customer of mine. If they got
yeah.
that much money
Right.
Yeah.
to just play D&D for 3 days, you are a potential customer of mine, so I need to be there. So, yeah.
Dude, we need a reason to make a Patreon. I'm telling you. We
Go look up Ancient Lore Village, dude.
Yeah,
It's sick. It's such I took my wife there about 2 or 3 years ago for anniversary weekend. So that's how I heard about it originally.
obviously, I'm not the only one searching it because it did pop up really quick. Oh,
I feel
dude,
like I've
that's
heard
it.
of that place before. I don't know if it was somebody was telling me that they went there for like a weekend or something like that. Because I remember like the Lord of the Rings, Hobbit architecture type stuff.
One of the DMs, Kelsey Dion, Arcane Library.
yeah.
You guys know who?
Yeah, I know that one.
Shadow Dark
Yep.
RPG. When I first got back into D&D, I ran Lost Minds of Fandelver, the starter set thing. Then when I was done with that, I'm like, started looking at the books. They intimidated the shit out of me, this big-ass book. I'm like, what the it was just crazy. It was too much.
yeah.
I found Arcane Library. I was like, wow, this is a little more manageable. This is cool. So I ran a couple of hers, and it made it so easy. I'm like, so she is like my whatever the hell, my births of getting back into D&D.
Yeah.
I'm like, what? My wife just got me her Shadow Dark book for my birthday, so it's coming with me next week when I go, and I'm gonna have her sign it.
That would be Oh, that'd be so good, so good. Yeah. My introduction back into 5e was Monty Cook Tollus. It was originally a 3.5. It's this city that kind of sits in its own plane. There's a lot of wild stuff that goes on. And it's Monty Cook, so everything in it is designed to kill you. Like, I honestly don't know how. Is it
like a dungeon crawl type thing?
It's like a whole setting, but there is a lot of spots where it's pretty crawly. Like it's definitely like we're gonna fight monster of the week type
Doom
stuff.
and gloom,
right? But you'll be like, hey, I killed this monster. It'll be like, okay, well now the room's on fire. Whoa, what? Yeah. Like I said,
the monster exploded.
Right, Monty's all about tearing you up.
Yeah.
Are there any other like systems that you play? Are there anything else that you've looked at and been like?
Again, there's. I bought the Call of Cthulhu. I'm dying to play Call of Cthulhu from Chaosium.
Yeah.
I so want to get into that. I love that whole vibe.
Yep.
I love that Elder God vibe. I love the 20s vibe. I love all that shit.
Yeah,
but maybe one day when when the Weather Dragon expands and the main focus isn't me trying to build tables, design tables, run the social medias, go into cons, and when I can breathe a little bit, then maybe I can have more fun.
How long does it take you to make a table?
Average is about a month.
Okay, yeah. I can see that, especially with you're the person putting it together the whole time. Yeah.
It's every aspect too.
Yeah,
from every part to staining to finishing to painting to it's all me.
What kind of stain do you use?
Whatever the customer wants.
Fair.
I know a company.
Oh, that's right. You're the Lowe's guys. What is it, Valspar? What are we doing?
I got Sherwin. I got Minwax. I got.
What you need?
The majority of them are Minwax. My finish is a 2-part acrylic urethane.
Okay, yeah.
Which was designed for bars and restaurants. My table is 3 years old. It's been to 5 conventions, one of them being Gen Con. And you'd be hard pressed to find a scratch on it.
Yeah. That's nice.
That was one of my questions. I was like, "What is the urethane that you use?" Out of professional curiosity,
it's in a 2-part acrylic urethane, and it's fantastic. When I see Wormwood reviews talking about their tables, the biggest complaint is their tables scratch too easily. Not here at the Weather Dragon, bitches.
When you start paying for advertising, that needs to be the quote right there. That's it.
Ginny D did a review on their tables, and that was one of the things she said. I guess they handed her a table. I don't know what the deal was, but she had one of their tables, and that's what one of the cons was. She said table scratched way too easily.
Wow.
See, I don't want it. Dude, their shit is gorgeous. It's fantastic.
It absolutely is.
But if you want to spend that kind of money on the Prophecy, their top-end table, you can spend the same amount of money on my way, and you're going to get this Disney World themed, full aesthetically pleasing table, a light show, full electric. There's outlets galore. Everybody can keep their shit charged. You're getting way more for your money.
Right. What is their Prophecy? Doesn't think start at like 15?
It's about 10 grand.
Yeah. That's the base model though, right?
That's probably without the topper.
Yeah. So that's it's a lot of money.
My next one is floating around the 11 mark.
Sure, I got that.
But again, you're getting,
dude. We've looked at them
way more.
Yeah, like every time I pull those up, like and I think they kind of have this unique look to them that I don't see in a lot of other places, right?
Yeah.
The towers, I think, really kind of like set them apart.
It is. That's what's different.
Yeah.
Nobody. Who's doing that? Nobody.
Yeah.
That's one thing when it comes to my brain. I'm way outside the box.
Yeah.
I don't want to do shit that everybody else is doing.
Sure, right? Yeah, especially
for what? There's enough of those companies out there.
Exactly. If that's what you want, go get that, right?
Like, I choked my market out because you almost need a game room.
Yeah.
Because where Wormwood you can use as a dining room table.
Yeah.
If you're that hardcore, use my tables. Good for you. That's even cooler. You're even more my people.
Where are you going next with the Weather Dragon?
Sky's the limit.
Yeah.
Dude, with the Weather Dragon Press, which is a new branch, one of my customers approached me. He's a writer. Mike, let's do the Weather Dragon Press. I basically licensed him my name so he can, just publish his one-shots and stuff that he does under me. He loves what I'm doing so much and believes in it so much. He could have just did it on his own, but he knows I already have a foothold. Yeah. So he's like, well, let me kind of maybe ride his coattails kind of thing. So I'm like, dude, that's fantastic. Yeah. So now in our shop, we have free one-shots, minis to go with it. We're a licensed mini seller for, I'm not even going to attempt to pronounce the name for the company because it's very long and intricate.
Yeah, we'll put it in the show notes. We're good.
But yeah, so the Weather Dragon is becoming this one-stop shop for modules, minis. My buddy Joe that I mentioned earlier, dude's a musician. He's going to start writing tracks also for the one-shots.
That's fantastic.
So we are really becoming this one-stop shop.
Yeah, we need to talk to Joe. We need some custom music. I mean, even what we're looking at.
I sent you his info.
Yeah, I did. Yeah. We talked to him, and I think we just kind of missed. We went back and forth a couple times. Hey, I don't know if we've talked about this, but here at the Dapper Meeple, planning is not our strong
suit. It's not your thing?
Yeah, we can do it every now and then.
All right. I'll reach back out to him. And
seat of our pants, it's the way we go, baby.
I texted him on the way here. I said, hey, I'm on my way to Virginia Beach to go to the Dapper Meeple podcast studio.
Nice. He can be like, they wanted me to write music
those guys. They never got back to me. F those guys.
I feel like I did send the last email. But again, ADHD, it's possible that we missed that. It's possible. We've always been a fan of, people in this community, people that are making stuff, doing better. Like you get to watch it grow, right? Like again, the BA Games guys that we've worked with, Fire and Ash, the just people that we've got on to talk to that, hey, I started doing this and here's where we are and it's going to another step and we're doing this. And it seems like now too, we're bringing a lot of people in, right? Like there are tons of people that, Gen Con has always been crazy, but now like everybody knows what it is. People know what it is. Again, I attribute Critical Role and Dimension 20 and pretty people that get on and play D&D.
Damn pretty people.
Right? Because yeah. I'm charming. I feel like I do okay, right? I feel like I'm above average, but yeah, I'm no Matt Mercer.
You got a real face for podcasting.
Ouch!
Hey, y'all, I just want you to remember that family's not always loyal.
Yes, Jim and Josh are brothers.
Yeah.
I don't think I fit the nerd profile. I kind of got my own thing going on.
Right. I get a lot of that kind of when I'm over. I get told I look mean a lot of times too, and I'm like, "What are you talking about?
Angry bastard."
Right? Like people love me. I'm charming, damn it. Like what?
That was your Navy career, honestly. That's what happened.
Right? That's that's 20 years of bitter. Still seeping out. So yeah, man. The products are amazing. If you guys are out there and you've got the money to spend, first of all, buy local. Always buy local. Like you're gonna get somebody right here. You guys obviously you love what you're doing. You've got some backup for it, but I imagine putting these tables together and finishing the last steps and getting to do the Q&A and looking over it has got to be a feeling like, hey, look, this is mine.
I got to be careful on how I phrase this. I'm going to get smacked by all women, but it's like labor pains. It's the only thing I can equate it to. I'm just using an analogy here. The process of building it, and then once it's done, it's like, oh, the baby's here.
Right.
And it's like, oh.
Like I can only imagine from our experience in building a table that there are several times where like it's just an evening of just profanity. Like, why didn't this work? This is supposed to work.
Of Band-Aids and smashed thumbs.
Right.
Yeah.
I get that, and then you're done, and it's just like it is beautiful. I totally understand. Don't be sending us hate mail. I get it.
An analogy.
Yeah. Is there anything that we missed, man? Is there anything you want to talk about? You want to talk about the hobby? Do you do board games? Are you kind of?
I do.
Okay.
I like Hero Quest a lot.
Okay.
We got into that. My daughter likes Hero Quest. She's my board game buddy. But of course, she had to get a freaking boyfriend. So now it's like, so dad gets on the back burner now.
I know that feeling.
Shame on you, Autumn. But I love you.
I gotta tell my kids all the time, hey, no matter what, I love you. Some days I don't like you a lot, and I need to have a break.
But I love you.
Yeah, that always stays.
Nah, dude, my kids are great. My oldest son, Michael's in the Coast Guard. He loves out of all of them, he loves all this shit the most. He goes to the cons, help me with the cons. Matthews is my middle guy who helps me with the design process of them all on the computer. Autumn loves playing, and then if I can get her, she'll help me out here and there, inside the shop, but not tremendously. But
Yeah.
So it's a big family affair.
That's awesome. We did have my daughter working as our social media manager for a hot minute, but
no good.
Yeah,
No bueno.
Gen Z's a little rough to work with sometimes, man.
Man,
I had her sign a contract that's still out on the stuck to the refrigerator. Like, here's what I'll pay you every 2 weeks. Here's what you need to do. And every now and then when she's like, she comes in getting mouthy, I'm like, hey, just remember this.
Yeah.
Like, all right, this is your first failure. Learn from this and go to college.
That's it.
Yeah. Hey, man, Mike, thank you so much for coming on, man.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah, this has been a blast.
Yeah.
We always love sitting down and talking to people. Again, The Weather Dragon, find them on Facebook, find them on Instagram, Google them for some of you that don't know how to search Facebook. Talking about me. I can't figure it out. They made a change. I can't find the search button anymore.
If you search The Weather Dragon, weathered with an ED at the end of weather, all my crap will pop up. Everything from random videos to my stuff with Stashwick to you might even find the Anjali Bhamani YouTube video in there.
Dude, you can't miss that one. You can't. Oh, I was jealous. Jealous.
Yeah.
I'm jealous of me. I don't know.
It was me. I was there.
I was there, and I'm still jealous.
I'm jealous of me.
So go look it up. Seriously, again, we're all about buying local. And good luck out there. And if you do have the income and you get one of these tables, take pictures and send them to us. We'll have all of your contact information in the show notes, so people that look there can find it.
Appreciate it.
All right, man. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, guys, in our crowdfunding roundup today, we got a couple of awesome projects for you. Looks like we're going to run with 2 different games that each have a pretty unique mechanic that we want to kind of highlight. And then we have a supplement for your next RPG campaign.
So we're going to start with a project over on GameFound, and we're kicking off with Ice Unlimited. Now, this is a 2nd edition.
Yeah, it's a second version of a game that came out, I believe it was in 2023, so last year. This is kind of an updated version. They reworked a few things, made things a little bit smoother and simpler. The first version actually did win quite a few accolades, including some mentions from the Dice Tower guys.
Right.
So definitely some good pedigree going on already. It looks like most of the changes basically made the game easier to set up, a little bit faster to play, and a little bit easier just kind of as an overall management type.
If it came out, that's a pretty quick turnaround for 2nd edition.
The unique mechanic that I really wanted to highlight with this game, and kind of what drew me to it, was it is a multi-layered board. So in this game, you're playing as a group of explorers and archaeologists trying to dig down in the ice to uncover these different artifacts. The board itself is made up of 3 different layers, and as you begin to uncover, you get access to, of course, the better artifacts towards the bottom. Just a really cool system of how it works. One of the funniest things I thought that was really tongue-in-cheek was they give you a guitar pick, but it's called an ice pick to help you flip up the tiles. That way, nice and easy. Really funny. Fantastic. It looks really interesting, though, especially with that mechanic, because you never know what you're going to quite uncover underneath.
Right. And how deep does this go? How many layers are in the board?
So there are 3 layers so that you stack on top of each other. So it is set up with these different hexagonal tiles, and you basically lay out the board that way. The original game had 5 layers, which obviously made setup a lot longer. So this kind of cuts back on that, makes it a little bit easier to actually play the game.
All right, let's take a look at what you're going to spend if you want this. So right out the gate, they throw the most popular reward that people have chosen, and that is Ice Unlimited Box. It's a collector's version of the base game. It comes with both the expansions that they offer. You also get the deluxe components like the collector meeples and the metal coins, which again, fans. And that one's going to run you $141 with all the game that looks like it's in this box. That's not bad. Also, little wooden meeples. Everybody's starting to go with fancy wooden meeples, and they look pretty fantastic.
Yeah. Now, you can also go with a standard edition of the game, which will run you around $65. This is just kind of the very retail version of the base game. No fancy meeples or things like that, but it's got enough in there where if you want to play the game, you can play the game. It doesn't include the 2 expansions that are in this Kickstarter as well. If you want to add those on, that's going to raise your pledge up to about 110.
And then there's the all-in, everything ice that we have to offer. It includes the Collector's Edition and the Ice Unlimited box, both expansions. It gives you all the deluxe components, the ice coasters, the ice art book, the wooden collector inserts. Like, when they say all, they mean all. So that one's going to run you about $218. So if you already knew about this Kickstarter because you had backed the original, what they also offer is a returning backers pledge where it gives you the conversion kit and the Ice Relics Collector's expansion and the new ice map, basically letting you convert your original ice into a closer version of this, updating the rules, updating the stuff in there. And that one's only going to run you about $50.
Yeah, so a great upgrade if you already have the original ice game.
Right. A couple things that I really like about this project in particular and GameFound is GameFound does offer the stretch pay option, which we absolutely have taken advantage of, where you basically pay a monthly installment on whatever pledge you make. So I think that kind of, again, we've talked about it a little bit, but that brings it a little bit closer, a little bit easier for people to fund some of these bigger projects. I also like that this is part of the stable pledge. It's something that I guess GameFound is running, and it says that this project is part of the stable pledge program. The creator guarantees a full refund to backers if the change in any price estimates after the campaign's end is bigger than 10%. Backers will be granted a 100% refund upon request made within 14 days after the change announcement, and GameFound will pay back its provision to the creator, who is solely responsible for the refunds. After some of the issues that we've talked about earlier, I think this is kind of a nice little just in case.
Yeah, definitely. I think it's a unique protection that you don't usually get in crowdfunding, right? I think sometimes it's easy to make a assumption that all crowdfunding projects are going to be okay, but we historically know that they are not.
So this project is completely funded, and it has 17 days left on it at time of recording. If you've always wanted to dig in the ice, here's your opportunity, but watch out because that's how you get Ebola. So jumping over to Kickstarter, let's talk Children of Morta, the board game. This is based off of a video game of the same name. And again, following a popular trend that we've seen, people turning video games into board games.
Yeah, so this is a based off I think it was an action RPG, if I remember correctly, that follows this family of heroes, and for all their like quirks and strengths and failures and whatnot, you are trying to lead them or play as them through these different story missions.
Sounds like the Belmonts. Go ahead.
I would not be surprised if it was like, something like that. This game, though, takes that and turns it into a tabletop game. It does have a very unique mechanic in it in a bag building version, but instead of each individual player having their own bag, there is a shared one among the family of these upgraded tokens that allow you to actually perform the actions.
I like that. I'm a fan of bag builders anyway. I feel like I'm really good at them, as good as you can be. But I like luck was a stat in Fallout. It's cool. That's a real thing.
It's the randomness.
Yeah.
But yeah, so what this does is makes this game very easy to drop in, drop out, play even if you don't have like the same players, all those sorts of things. So at its heart, this is a cooperative game in which you pick, as of course, one of the members of the family, which each have their own unique skills and abilities and things like that. And you can play it one of two ways. One is like a true story mode where you get these upgrades for each hero. You continue to play through those story missions, getting stronger and stronger, working all the way through the campaign. The other is an individual. You pick up a mission, you play the mission, and then that's it. And so, however your play style is, however your group works, you can definitely do that. Now, in something like the campaign mode where the bag comes in, as you complete these missions and you upgrade and you get these better tokens in the bag, if a new player comes into the game, normally they would be disadvantaged because they wouldn't have access to those better abilities or tokens, but because it's a shared bag, they do have access to that. So it helps them to feel like a part of the game, even though they haven't been playing to really like level up, so to speak, their character. So I think that's a really cool mechanism that makes it fun for especially groups that maybe can't have everyone at every meeting.
Right. This is a good one to pull out if you guys are like having maybe a game night where you have people that are not like your group coming in, just pulling out and running a single adventure at it. So let's look at what you're going to spend. So over on Kickstarter, there are 3 levels to pledge. You start off with the Guardians pledge. Again, there's the $1 pledge if you just want to keep an eye on it, and that's Hope's pledge. But the Guardians pledge gives you a standard edition copy, the family trait mini expansion, and then any stretch goals. And that's going to run you about $45 US.
Yeah, so the next one they call the Goddesses Pledge. This is the deluxe, more collector's edition version. You get the deluxe edition of the game. You get, of course, the mini expansion, all the stretch goals that are for the standard and deluxe edition. In the deluxe edition, the upgrades, all your tokens are now acrylic instead of cardboard. Also, you get metal coins. There's a couple, like a really cool first player marker as well as the family marker for the main board. So a couple of really cool upgrades like that in the deluxe edition. And that's going to run you close to $85.
And then finally, the Divine Pledge. You get the deluxe edition. You also get 8 player mats, 12 heroic marbled dice, the family trait mini expansion, and all the stretch goals. So if you really want to go all in and you like player mats, you're going to get those. And they're pretty nice looking. They look like they're just neoprene mats that everything will fit into its proper place, which I always like, just keeping the game organized on the table. That one's going to run you $116, which for a game that looks like it's as deep as this one is, I think that's pretty reasonable.
Yeah, absolutely, especially with all the upgraded pieces and things like that. I do like that the intro pledge is only $45. I feel like that's very, very accessible, especially with the way that most Kickstarter games are.
Oh yeah, you're gonna find like games at Target off the shelf like that are gonna be $45.
Yeah.
So right now it's got 20 days to go. It is completely funded, almost double what it asked for. So it is going to get made as long as, the company stays afloat and stuff. Everything looks good, and you will have your chance to be part of the Belmont, the Bergeson family, if you want to go ahead and back this.
So the last project we have for you today is a supplement to your next D&D campaign. This is Bounty Boards, a D&D side quest adventure generator. I don't know about you, but if you've ever done a campaign where you are making custom content for it and you're not following a traditional book campaign, side quests can be something that are a little difficult to come up with. I know for me, I had the opportunity to run a campaign in Ravnica, and it was always interesting trying to create options for the players that were outside of the normal main quest line.
Right.
So what this does is uses kind of the principle of a bounty board, right? They actually have a really cool song and stuff on their Kickstarter. So if you want to go check that out, it's pretty fantastic. But it's the principle that in every city or every location, there is a bounty board that has various quests and things like that your players can engage with. Whether they are finding a wanted character, or maybe it's recovering some old lady's cat, or who knows what that quest might be. There are options for your characters to maybe stray from the main quest path.
Just looking through it at some of the stuff that is offered, one, it looks like there's a lot of stuff for any level that your party might be at. It feels like it's a complete build too, right? You get the wanted poster along with the stats and the information on the encounter, and it goes all the way up to some pretty tough looking, like big bad evil guys. So even if you're just like running a campaign, just shooting from the hip, this could be a lot of help.
Yeah. Yeah. So there's a bunch of stuff in here. I like that it's also got some backstory to it, like to the individual, like side quest. It's not something simple, right? They took time to really invest and create a story around these different characters.
You know, if you've got one of those kind of groups that likes lore and pays attention, right down your alley. So let's look at the pledges. First off, you can do the ebook, which is going to be a copy of the bounty boards for tablet or mobile. And that is going to run you about $24, which, again, great price for entry.
Yeah, especially since I feel like in the digital age we're in, a lot of people use those mediums for their game preps, especially.
Mm-hmm.
$24 is nice.
Yep. If you're one of the more tactile people in our audience, you can get a hardback copy for about $30, and it's also going to come with the PDF. So you kind of get both, which is nice.
Yeah, for $5 more.
Yeah, I feel like that's the way to go.
Yeah.
And that's it. That's what you get. You're really going to get your money's worth, I think, if you go with the hardback copy. But, I mean, you do you. If you're interested in this, if this is something that you feel like you could absolutely use in your campaign or future campaigns, I would definitely check this out. I think I'm going to back this because there are days when I don't want to think up new side quests, and this would be a huge help for that.
Yeah, this company that is making it also has a couple other books and supplements and things you can actually add on. One of them includes like new subclasses and gods. There's an herbalism book they have as well. And some like new spells and NPCs, stuff like that as well. So definitely take a look at it. It looks like they do some pretty interesting stuff. I'm always a fan of, kind of third party type playtest material, that sort of thing, just supplemental things for your campaign. Because if you play with players, especially ones that have been playing for a long time, it gets kind of where, oh, you brought out that thing. Well, that thing has this AC.
Yeah.
It hits this hard, and these are the abilities that it has. Right. It's always fun to throw a loop into that and bring in maybe something that they've never heard of before.
Right. Disrupt the metagaming pigeon.
Yeah.
It's got 26 days left to go. It is funded. So now we're just pushing into stretch goals. All right. And with that, the moment of truth. Will this be the end of the party, or will they triumph over evil?
The last standing member chooses their die carefully, gently shaking it over the rolling tray.
They roll the die across the dragon-scaled leather.
And the dice lands on...
Oh, sorry about that, guys. Technical difficulties. For the Dapper Meeple, I'm Jim.
And I'm Josh.
Good night, everyone.
Thanks, everyone, for sticking around and listening to our show.
If you enjoyed it, let me ask you a favor. Follow us and leave a like wherever you get your podcast. It'll really help us out.
And if you have anything to say back to us, you can find us on Instagram and Facebook by searching for the Dapper Meeple. Or you can email us at dappermeeplegaming@gmail.com.
And as always, we'll save you a seat at the table.